Isn't that weird? Charlie Church. Sounds really, really similar, doesn't it? Charlie Church. Charlie Kirk.
I don't know what it is. I'm actually gonna send for her.
Of course. It might be stupid to you, but it means something to her, and that's what matters.
I don't think it's stupid. If I lost Gaia's ashes before I could make it into a necklace, I'll be devastated.
Well, don't do it then. It's really interesting how all this plays out. I had to reset my feed because I had eight likes and 2 viewers by the time I just said fuck it and reset. Because, 8 likes and 2 viewers, that's generally how you see things working out, right? Guys like Matt, what happened to Matt? Was Matt kicked off? What happened? Because Matt's usually pretty vocal, and Matt was extremely quiet. After saying a couple of hello there. Hello there. If you guys remember even a month ago, 2 weeks ago, just before Charlie Kirk's shooting, so I don't remember, is that 2 weeks now? Just before Charlie Kirk's shooting, I noticed something was wrong with my feed. Why was my feed getting fucked up? Why was my feed being censored so much? And I told you guys, you can go back and find it. I wish I had that. Well, the thing is, I know you guys probably have it clipped, right? So if you guys have it clipped, can you please do me a huge favor and find that part where I said, prior to Charlie Kirk shooting, something big is about to happen because my feed is getting fucked with. I don't know which day it was. I guess you could easily kind of figure it out if you saw you go look at the view counts and then you see that just one day it drastically drops. Hey, fella. But you saw me say it. I said there's probably a shooting going to happen here soon. And of course, it will never be an official anything, and it's definitely not going to be a Ben Shapiro, unfortunately. But it's going to be somebody that's polarizing. I told you guys this was going to happen. Do you guys remember hearing me say that shit? Something is wrong. Something's about to happen. My feed is being fucked with. As soon as my feed starts getting fucked with and I'm not allowed to have the normal view count, I always think, all right, well, something's happening. Something's going to happen in the next couple days that they're not going to want me talking about. Shit, it might even have been that day. I know it was, right within a day or two of the Kirk shooting. I was hovering at 6,000 or so, 5,000, 4,000, thousands of views. I mean, sometimes it would be allowed to go up into the tens. But I had a consistent view count. And now, 1 like, 1 viewer. And so there's something else that's happened. So what you guys don't see is when I edit my description, and if I put links to things in the description, it always asks me to verify it. And then it gives me three options. Take a 6-second video of myself, something else, and then the third one was always just build the history as you grow. And I would always click the build the history as you grow. Well, again, either that day or the day before or the day, somewhere around there, suddenly that's not necessary anymore. It's been this way for fucking months. Months and months and months and months. Every single time I'm thinking, man, have I not put this exact same description up time and time again that it has, what has to be verified at this point? But all of a sudden it went away. Like all of a sudden now my feed is registered or whatever. I don't know. And these are all things that you guys don't get to see because it's on my end. And it's something weird that you don't notice until after it happens. Yeah. The fact is, it's just like they tell us we're supposed to be good Americans and we're supposed to, you know, if we have an issue, we're supposed to protest legally. We're supposed to, you know, maybe you'd put it in their house or something.
It was a pair of shorts in the laundry.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So you freaked out for no reason.
No, I don't look good.
Right.
No, I really thought it dropped in the mail.
I know. You freaked out for no reason. Weirdo. But they tell us we're supposed to protest a certain way. We're supposed to follow certain rules. And then when people do it a certain way and follow those rules, then they get arrested or they're not allowed to do it that way. And then they say, well, why are people acting out so violently? Why are people responding the way they are to the stuff? And it's because you take away every option. You know, why wouldn't the American government want the American citizens questioning the narrative that we're given? Isn't that part of being an American? You know, people think that the Second Amendment is about protecting your house, your stuff, protecting yourself from an intruder. It's not. The Second Amendment is about the civilians, the citizens, protecting themselves against a tyrannical government. In case the government goes tyrannical, we have the ability to fight back. But now we have dictator Trump trying to say, you know, nobody can say anything mean about me. You're not allowed to point out me calling Azerbaijan Azerbaijan and Albania were at war. You're not allowed to point out what a fucking moron I am. Look, pedophile Kristen Mayfield is. The only reason I point, because she's so fat and disgusting, and you know she doesn't shower. You know she subjects kids to horrible shit, and she's this big fat, disgusting, smelly piece of shit. It's insane, and she'll say dumb shit. Trump is the best thing that's ever happened to America. Really? Come on, give me some things. Give me some proof of that. I have a feeling it's just going to be more wah-wah, more crybaby. But that's what it is. You have to love these pedophiles that come on here and just insist on outing themselves. You know, I bring up pedophilia and you say anything other than, yeah, we need to do everything we can to eliminate it. Probably because you're a pedophile. I don't really understand how it could be anything other than that. I'm going to obsess over you. I'm going to obsess over you because, I mean, that video I just showed you guys on the last feed was really fucking telling. You know, when you watch Myron trying to talk, and as soon as he tries talking about facts, the Israelis just flip out and do everything they can to interrupt and you know, like, there's no way I could ever let people on this feed because look at what they do. I don't have the patience to deal with that shit. I realize it makes the video good because it shows the piece of shits that we're dealing with. But you're the crybaby and you're disgusting person. Y-O-U-R. I am disgusting. You're just Y-O-U-R disgusting. She got it right on the first attempt. But on the second attempt, bot failed. Bot failed. Two years, 7 subscribers. Yep. I'm a disgusting person because I think Matitza Bapé should be outlawed. People shouldn't be allowed to fucking sexually abuse children just because it's their religious, their cult fucking bullshit. Kristen Mayfield must have gotten hungry. Couldn't stop eating for long enough to actually, say something. But this is always what happens. I think it's interesting because there are so many things that should be being talked about. And there are people that are talking about them, but everybody talks about it. Like even Myron, you can see why Myron's allowed to have the feed he does, because he pushes the bullshit narrative that Muslims did 9/11. Muslims didn't do 9/11. Israel did 9/11. Without a doubt. There's a reason why I have 4 viewers and 3 likes. There's a reason why my feed is censored so much. And it's because I don't hold back. I'm not scared or obligated not to do it or whatever to talk about the Jews. They're horrible. It's a horrible cult that needs to be eliminated. And the thing I'd like to say, we offer all the youngsters and all the people that supposedly all the good ones, 3 and 5 now, 5 likes, 3 viewers. We offer all those people who claim to be good ones. Matt, welcome back. Did you get kicked off? The first one? Ouch. We offer all those ones that claim to be good the opportunity to denounce it. To say, no, I'm not a part of this cult. This is a disgusting cult. I'm not a part of it anymore. I think we're all equal. We all deserve, the same rights and opportunities in life and all that. So, no, I'm not going to be a part of this cult anymore. I wish I could say we offer that and they're going to take it. But they won't. They won't. I'm the only person I know that's standing up to Jews violating their own children. I don't hear anybody else talking about this. I mean, I see some Matitza Bapé conversations, but there's nobody talking about bottom of darkness, Israel, Hayom. I don't even know where I figured that one out. Must have been a random read the Israeli news day, and I happened to stumble across that article. I think that's what it was. Because there's nobody else talking about it. And the Israel Hayom article is probably, from what I can tell, it's the most important, the most important article I've ever read. The most telling article I've ever read. The most eye-opening and should be waking people up article I've ever read. And especially the response that my feed gets for reading that article. Because I can't stress this enough. You'll never see the Jews come in here and be like, yeah, I'm Jewish, and it really bothers me that we have Matitza Bapé, that we have this bottom of darkness situation in Israel. And we, especially the Jews, need to do everything we can to eliminate this disgusting part of our cult. You'll never hear any of them say anything close to it. They'll just tell you not to read it, not to talk about it, or that you just don't understand. You just don't understand what's actually being said. Comments get shut off. Seems weird. It's funny, I always think the comments are off when there's not dumbasses talking shit. That's a weird feeling. But I really do, like I've been telling you guys, that I think there's this change coming. You know, I can't figure out what it is. Something just feels different. It feels like talking to, nope, I got you, Matt, thanks. It feels like I'm on the brink of something big. And it seems like all the distraction stuff was almost getting to me. I was getting caught up in distractions like Charlie Kirk and all that other shit. But the reality is, you know, the focus on Israel Hayom is just a huge thing. You know, you should be able to talk to any Jew about Israel Hayom and they just lower their head and, oh man, I know, I just hate that shit. I told you guys Joey wouldn't come back. After Joey outed himself as being a pedo, based on the Israel Hayom article, pretending not to know about it, pretending he's never heard. But then when I start reading it, telling me to stop reading it, not one time saying, oh my gosh, I didn't know this was a thing, but now that I do, this is horrendous, we need to do something about it, you know, trying to do everything he can to change the subject or turn it back. Whoa, what's on your computer? What's on your computer? Let's see your search history. And I'm like, I don't even know how to search for my search history. I don't even know how to show it because I don't care. I don't delete my search history because I have nothing to worry about, but I don't even know how to do it. Oh yeah, well, yeah, I'll give you $2,500 for your computer. Okay. I'll give you $10,000. What do you say? He started with $5,000. He started with, I'll give you $5,000. Okay. I'll give you within 3 comments, he went from $5,000 to $10,000 to $25,000. He'll give me $25,000 for my computer. And I was like, all right, here, you know, send the $25,000 to the Bilderberg Group page, and I'll happily, it's to send me an address, and I'll happily ship out my computer to you. I'll give you my phone. I'll give you whatever you want. You want to throw in $25,000? And he was like, oh, well, I could give $25,000. It's no big deal. I have it. $25,000 isn't a lot of money to me. And then when I pointed out that he just won't do it, he fucking backed off and ran away. Look at the fat pedo retracting her messages now before I can see them. Can you just imagine, especially when you know the hygiene practices they have, to think that they're violating children as disgusting and dirty and smelly as they are? Those poor children. Like, it's bad enough that it's already happening, but then you're this unshowered, you know, smelly, disgusting little fucking troll. It's horrible. It's horrendous. The Israel Hayom article is, I think the most shocking aspect of it is actually the good guys that are interviewed. You know, because the article, first of all, the article itself is Israel Hayom. So everything in the article is Jewish top to bottom. There are no goyim involved in that at all. Editors, writers, photographers, computer people, you know, all of it. It's Israel Hayom, right? It's an Israeli website, top to bottom. Oh fuck, what was I saying? I got distracted by my wife. I don't remember. Speaking the truth, brother, we're all waking up. Hopefully. Hail Christ! Like this is one of those parts that just, I just don't understand it. And it doesn't seem like any Christians do either. You know, you would think as a Christian, when given the opportunity to express why you believe in Jesus and all that stuff, you would be like happy to. You'd be proud of what you believe and you would know about it. But the reality is, you know, Christianity is Jewish. It comes from Second Temple Judaism. Your silly fucking Bible, every main character in the Bible is Jewish. They literally talk about the Goyim, the Gentiles, as a separate group of people. Not us Gentiles, those Gentiles. They mention those Gentiles multiple times. The 144,000 spots in heaven are reserved for the 12 tribes of Israel. 12,000 of each from the 12,000 or from the 12 tribes. Revelations and all that bullshit. It's all Jewish fairy tale. So why do you believe it? It's literally like it was created to control you so that you would be distracted, along with the Muslims being distracted by their creation, so that we are continuously fighting each other and not looking at who's pulling the strings. I learned that Hebrew was made in the 1500s. No, it wasn't. Hebrew was made in the 1800s. The Jewish religion was created in the 1800s. The cult was created in the 1800s. The first the first Hebrew dictionary wasn't produced until at least 1903 by a guy called Eliezer ben Yehuda. And the claim was that they insisted that they had to supplement the deficiencies in the Hebrew language by using Aramaic, specifically Arabic. And if you hold a mirror up to Arabic, you get Hebrew. It's very similar. Eliezer ben Yehuda. Look him up. Tell me I'm wrong, look him up. Oh, shit. You're either aware of it or you believe in the concept of a reset. That resets have happened multiple times. And that last one was between like 1750 and 1850. Right? Recently, you know, I think it's even later than 1850. You once you understand the concept of a reset, the idea that anything we are told historically is accurate is fucking stupid. And there's just so many proofs of it. From something as stupid as the gas lighting systems. I'd love to know, actually, because I have one of these in my front yard. And it's not an electrical outlet. At least doesn't look like one. I believe this to be a gas lighting system. And of course, it has the, you know, fucking weird eagle on it and shit. But when you understand that something is as mundane, as commonplace as the gas lighting system, when you look into that history, it don't make no sense. But the claim is that the Chinese were using gas to light and heat their homes as early as 500 BC, minus 500. Running pipelines made of bamboo that they ran gas through and brine through so they could heat and light homes. The Chinese had this technology down with bamboo back in 500 BC, yet it didn't hit Western society until the 1850s, 60s, 70s, something like that. Like, it's just ridiculous. Our historical narrative is ridiculous. And the fact that there's no mention of Tartaria in your historical lexicon, like you never heard Tartaria mentioned by any of your teachers or anything like that. Considering what a worldwide force Tartaria is according to the history they give, for it to be left out of our history lessons should wake you up. Interesting how you decide which of the things you read are truth and which one are government lies. Do I? You know, there's a real distinction there, right? One, I never say any of it's true. You know, I always refer to Israel as the history they want us to know. So when you look at it from the perspective of what they want us to know, like, first of all, if what they want us to know doesn't make sense, well, you should ask yourself that. Why do they want us to know that then? And when it's something that goes with the narrative, well, there's what reason would they have to lie about it, right? If it's just like a normal nothing thing, then why would they lie about it in the first place? Yet they do. However, when it's something that goes against the narrative, or it doesn't make sense, you still have to look at what they want you to know. And does it make sense? And when what they want you to know doesn't make sense, you should pay attention to that. But I don't think you're paying much attention when you're picking and choosing what dumb arguments you're going to make. Because my point is that everything that we know that we're told is bullshit. Didn't you just hear me say that? Everything that exists prior to said reset and then afterward that doesn't mention the reset is bullshit. How can you trust a history that doesn't tell you about Tartaria? How can you trust a history that tells you, yeah, all those castles and churches and catacombs and all that shit, pyramids and blah, blah. Yeah, we don't know how they built them. That's fine, just shut up. Yeah, we couldn't do that today, so what? They did it, so what? The historical narrative we're given is stupid. Bamboo gas pipes in 500 BC does sound absolutely ridiculous. How can it not? But see, if your whole purpose, your whole job here is that I'm wrong, saying stupid shit, or just ignoring those facts, you see how the people, the shit talkers, not only do they remove their comments, but they pick and choose which parts they're going to respond to try to make some sort of narrative that they can actually argue. They won't argue against what I'm saying because they can't. But how many of you are like, yeah, totally, bamboo pipes in 500 BC, that sounds totally reasonable. Running gas lines. The whole process of how they figured out how to get gas. And the fact that it just prolificated everywhere immediately. Boom. They sort of figured it out, and then suddenly everybody's just a producer, they're a storage, they can have all the gas lines are just run, and it's just stupid. It's fucking stupid. I love when people are dumb enough to point out the quality of my signal, like I have something to do with it. I'm on the same networks any of you are on. I'm on a T-Mobile network. I'm surrounded. There's cell phone towers within a mile of me. Multiple cell phone towers within a mile of me. Cell phone towers, everything's flat. There's no mountains in the way, even though it's supposedly coming from satellites. There's no mountains, anything. So why would my feed be fucked with? Why would my stream be so choppy? How does that make sense? What am I doing to make that happen? Like your inability to stay on point, to make arguments against what I'm saying, in desperation to come up with other shit, just ends up making you sound stupid. Streaming from a Nintendo DS. Duh. What kind of stupidity is this? How come you guys aren't better than this? You're supposedly like the chosen people and shit. How come you're not better than this? How come you can't come up with anything better than this dumb shit consistently? And see, it's it's all this shit where it's like, I'm not even gonna argue about it per se. I'm arguing about the narrative we're given and whether it makes sense to you. And I'm acting like any of you fucking know this stuff. Like any of you know the history of gas lighting. Like any of you know the history of submarines. You would think after all this time, one of these trolls would have gone through and looked up the history of submarines and then come at me with all the things I'm getting wrong and all the proof as to why I'm wrong. This has been going on for fucking almost 2 years, maybe more. Where's the opposition? Where's the intelligent opposition that just uses the same information I use? Was there a CIA documentary class on Einstein about erasing history of Tartaria, and it was originally written 56 or 59? I've seen it on YouTube before. I don't know. If there's a narrative, like to me, Tartaria is one of the best distractions they've ever given us. Unfortunately, you know, if you if you truly want to know the Tartarian history and old world tech history and all that shit, it all comes down to the same thing. We have the same goals. Whether it's stopping the pedophilia, stopping the genocide, you know, overthrowing this fraudulent system that is taking away free speech and all this other shit. I mean, you guys are, I'm so terrified about what's coming. Sears, SEERS. They're bringing that shit. That's this year's COVID. They're going to do the lockdown again. And it's going to be much worse this time. Much worse this time. Because dictator Trump doesn't have to worry about winning another election like he ever did. But Sears is going to be a really, really brutal thing that they're going to put on us. And if you want that to stop, if you want to know the truth about the earth shape, if you want to know the truth about our history or any of this, it all comes down to the same thing. We Goyim have to unite and overthrow the chosen narrative. That's literally all. That's the only option we have. And Tartaria ends up being one of these fantastic distractions because it's never ending, and it's you get immediate gratification, instant gratification every time you look into Tartaria. You can obviously see the difference between, you know, newer buildings and old world buildings. There's an obvious difference. So you can easily identify something, and then you just go look into the history of it. Oh, turns out it was built, some giant skyscraper. Turns out it was built in 1915 and in 2 years by unknown construction, unknown this, unknown, by an architect who won a fucking contest to replace the building that was there before that caught fire. And the fire took out the building. Interesting how none of those old stone buildings ever catch fire today. None of them. Isn't that interesting? When was the last time you heard about an old world building catching fire? Wow, there's a green screen I can use now. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's fantastic, isn't it? That's funny as hell. I don't know how to shut this off. There we go. Oh, look at that. I can do this now? Oh, that's fucking cool. I was wondering how everybody was able to do this shit. Wow. Wow. Oh man, this opens up a whole new element to the video, doesn't it? Wow. So I really do think we need to look at what they tell us to look at, and you know, conspiracy theorists be damned, right? Don't, you know, Alex Jones is a shill. Accept the possibility that everyone you're allowed to see, everyone that's allowed to have, you know, the viewers that they can get, not, there's no interference, there's no censorship, that they're just that, they're allowed to have their situation, their position, right? They wouldn't exist if they weren't allowed to exist. Gotta love the meth blunts. By the way, if you're watching, like, share, and sub. Fight against the censorship, man. Take 2 seconds and share this video on Facebook. And if you need to, because you're scared, title it, "This guy's crazy. Come tell him how crazy he is." Whatever you need to do. But censor, but help fight it. It's called your own prerogative. Go read a book and develop some fundamental understanding of yourself. Stop paying attention. Stop paying attention to shit. Focus on yourself. You need to focus on yourself. Selfish. Don't worry about all those kids being killed by Israeli bombs. Don't worry about that shit. Don't worry about those kids being raped by Israelis. Don't worry about the Israelis raping their own children. Don't worry. Why do I care about Israeli children being raped? More than Israelis do. More than Jews do. Where are all the good Jews at? I have yet to have any of them come on here. They're supposedly everywhere. I have yet to have somebody come on here and be like, "Yeah, I'm Jewish and I fucking hate everything associated with it. I hate the genocide. I hate the Matitza B'Peh. I hate the fucking, the mikvahs and all this other crazy bullshit." Where are they? Seems strange. There's so many of them. Yet there are plenty of people who can come on here and talk about the quality of the recording, because, again, I have something to do with it. Good morning, Jaden Cobb. Seriously. What we're experiencing is a nightmare, man. It's a nightmare. Like it's strange because I think if people just focused on the truth of things, there's no way that people would still support this cult. When you understand what they do to their own children, to think what they're capable of doing to the rest of us, especially considering they think of us as cattle, we're goyim. Like it should just, it's a domino effect, or at least it should be. You know, it never ceases to amaze me how many people will come onto this feed and talk shit to the guy that thinks we should kill pedos. What? Who's gonna talk shit to that guy? It's the same holy shit kind of thing when you see like a pedophile hunter goes live, and as soon as the target is identified, people are calling them, they're calling their work, they're doing everything they can to protect this piece of shit. Who the fuck's gonna do that? Probably the same people that are gonna continue to support Trump even after being convicted of rape. Well, again, he's basically convicted of rape. They can't convict him of penetration because how do you prove that that happened? Like, you don't have pictures, you don't have a video of it. But even the judge was like, yeah, he clearly did. We just can't put it on record that he did. But he did. And he was convicted of it. And then when he appealed, he lost the appeal. And she was, E. Jane Carroll was again validated. And you fucking voted for this guy? What kind of piece of shit are you? I would imagine if you were the one that was violated, or if your daughter was violated, you would want everybody and their mom to drop what they're doing to protect you. But for some strange reason, you're just willing to overlook it. And you know, I think that we as everyday people truly underestimate how bad the pedophile network is. I think that's the biggest sort of, and it's weird because you don't even know, like, why would you underestimate it? Other than it's just so appalling to you as a regular person that you can't imagine that anybody could ever find a child attractive. What you don't understand is there's a reason why pedophile hunters are so successful in catching guys every single day. Why no matter where DAP goes, wherever they show up, whatever city they unplanned show up in, look at that. Look how cool that is. Whatever city they show up in,
We had a battle with these.
I would imagine. Should have done it at night. Whatever city they show up in, they catch 8, 10, 15 people just on the fly. They'll be like, you know, they'll be smacking the shit out of one pedo, like, come on, stand up, hurry up, I gotta go catch another piece of shit like you. The whole child exploitation material business isn't one of the #1 dark web money makers because a few people do it. Your neighbors, my neighbor, your family members, these are all people who you know, they have pictures, they have folders, they're the people that are reaching, hey, what's up, to an obvious 14-year-old, trying to get them to send pictures and shit. A very, very, very small percentage of the people get caught. And a large percentage of the people that get caught are already on the sex offender registry. Because those are the people that have the compulsion that pictures alone don't satisfy. Those are the people who actually show up. But it's so few and far between. And yet, for Jews to make up, you know, as much as 3, but it's more likely 2% of the United States population and 0.183% of the world's population, for them to be caught, you know, 30, 40% of the time, something is wrong there. There are literally endless videos of Israelis getting caught trying to meet children. You can find it all over the web. You can find pedophile hunters who have caught Israelis doing it on some sort of vacation or, you know, whatever. You know, they took out Charlie Kirk because Charlie wasn't them. You know, they don't care about sacrificing Goyim for anything. They believe raping their own children leads to transcendence and redemption. They sacrifice their own children for that shit. You don't think they can sacrifice a Charlie Kirk? Some doofus that they created, they made us, they made for us? Then they immediately put out the narrative that he was killed over his free speech, over his Christian values. They just immediately knew that was why he was shot. And the guy they're trying to put this on is like, I didn't do it. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I didn't do it. Even the video of him supposedly being like deposed or whatever you want to, I don't know what it is, the pre-trial, when the judge is talking to him, even that video is edited. There's a difference between when it's funny because there's this body language expert guy who I believe is Jewish, but he has over 1 million subscribers and shit. He's really popular. But he put out a video talking about how, you know, doing the body language examination on that footage. And he said he found an inconsistency. And this is somebody that's allowed to have 1 million subscribers, so you know that's interesting. But he showed how the original footage out of Iowa or whatever, the local footage, shows the suspect nodding, body language nodding a little bit at the end of when all of his shit's read to him. But the ABC footage shows that he nods slightly when it says, you know, he killed Charlie Kirk because of his beliefs or something like that. The footage is edited. And why would you trust any of it anyway? When you look at the bullshit footage we were given regarding Epstein, this unequivocal proof, this undeniable proof, this just gonna end all the conspiracy theories proof. Here's the video. Oh, never mind that it's missing a minute here and there's a bunch of different edits and it doesn't actually show anything and it doesn't show the cell and it's not nearly the camera that should be, like, never mind all that shit, right? You should just trust it. Never mind that, to me, the most important piece of that footage is right after that minute break at midnight, where the camera angle shifts just slightly. There's literally no explanation for that, other than something else. But there's no like they don't even try to explain it. Why would the angle change slightly? These cameras are in specially designed housing to prevent them from being, if there's a riot or something, the cameras are prevented from being destroyed. The only way you could fuck with it is by spraying something over the lens. But who's to say they don't even have, it's 2025. They should have shit that can clean those lenses off if needed. Instead, this place has the most antiquated fucking shit ever. Security footage that's worse than my feed. And you're supposed to believe it? And it shifts? Again, it shifts? There's no reason why that camera should have moved even a little bit. It was just it's a minute. It happens every night. It's when the camera loops back over and a minute is just lost every single night. Like that in the super secure facility and yada. It's just bullshit. So why would you believe anything they have to say? The fact that they don't ever come out and just be like, yeah, we lied about this, or yeah, we did that, or yeah, you can't trust anybody that doesn't acknowledge their faults, that doesn't acknowledge their screw-ups. Because then how do you know if they're... Well, like I say, I think I've sort of stumbled into the next chapter of this, which is the most powerful article I've ever read. The most telling article I've ever read, which is the Bottom of Darkness article that Israel Hayom, Hayom, the website, put out. And there'll be a link to it. There is a link to it in the description. I actually put it in there beforehand. Anybody can go read it. Well, you can attempt to read it. Obviously, it's going to kick you out a bunch of times. It's going to be really, really difficult for you to read it because for some reason this website puts out an article and then makes it almost impossible to read. Keeps kicking you to a different article about how Israel destroyed Assad's Syrian navy. It keeps kicking you to a pro-Israel propaganda piece for some reason. Where are all the comments? Where's all the shit talkers? Seems strange that there's no shit talkers here. Oh, it's Sunday. They take Sunday off. Make it make sense, man. Make anything I'm saying make sense the way it's supposed to. Like, if you're a true blue believer in the United States and freedom and the government and all that, are you telling me it's that belief structure that just, it overrides your common sense? Nothing about the Charlie Kirk thing makes any sense. The narrative that you're given makes no sense. There are so many questions, so many holes in the story that as citizens we should be demanding answers to instead of just accepting the bullshit narrative we're given. What the fuck was under his shirt? I want to know what the fuck was underneath Charlie Kirk's shirt. There was something, some sort of, it was it looked like a banana. It was shaped, it was a long thing, it was a skinny thing like that big. It was underneath his shirt. You could see it popped up on his shirt from every single angle. And in slow motion, you can literally see the dot that on the other side. So it was a thing under his shirt, and then at the top there was this black dot. The black dot moves across and then up his neck. You can see it move up his neck. And then the blood starts pouring out. Which again, wouldn't be the case if he got shot with the weapon that they said he did. Because it would have just blown his head off. What the fuck is that? It's like they make it so obvious so that we focus on it. Again, is the comment section off? I need somebody to make a comment. What the fuck was in his shirt, guys? I know I keep saying I need to focus on one thing, but to me, it's all the, it's trying to get people to see it, because it's like, if I could knock down one of your dominoes, maybe there we go. I guess it does work. Okay. It's just interesting. It's always interesting when there's no shit talk coming through. But if the domino falls for Charlie, then maybe it'll knock the rest of them down. Even though it's really wild, because none of you believe the official narrative for the JFK shooting. For the true, like, I'm so sick of people saying he was assassinated. He was assassinated. Thanks, Michael. Eminem. Michael Marble. Marable, sorry. Ugh, hate when that happens. I listen to you, Truth, every chance I get. And what have I gotten wrong? I usually agree with what you're saying, and check fact a lot of what you're saying, and can usually at least find the sites you have shown me so far. You say you usually agree with what I'm saying. What don't you agree with? That's what's important. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. Believe it or not, I'm not here for applause. I'm not here to have my back pat. I want to know what I'm getting wrong so I can adjust my presentation. So if there's any specific thing you think I'm getting wrong, let's focus on that for a minute. That's me, family of Manning Marable. Okay. Don't know what that means. This is also, just so fucking weird and seemingly so cut and dry to me. To me, it all just makes so much sense. The lack of sense it makes sense, because that's what happens when you're, like George Floyd, right? Think about that. Like George Floyd. Was there any sort of like, oh, what happened? Oh, some sort of conspiracy. Oh, Israel, they blah, blah, blah. Was that any of it? No, it was like, look, it was on camera. He died. They were leaning on him. He died. And what happened? There's no counter narrative and all that shit. We fight for truth and justice. Good. Don't forget to get your free download. Music is our most powerful weapon, and it's not used. There's a reason why, like, do you realize, like, if this was the 60s, 70s, there would be endless protest songs on the radio. Right? If you just look at the way it works, we, Goyim, if we have the chance, which the whole hippie movement and all that was a Laurel Canyon creation by the government to create the counterculture, the whole... If you're opposed to the war, you're a dirty hippie. If you aren't, if you're a good, upstanding American, then you support the war. Like, that's the narrative they presented to us. Like, 95% of people that will appear in this chant have zero idea what your YOU are talking about. Yeah, but they sure seem to think they do. And everything I'm talking about is I'm not some guy, some super sleuth who's digging into like Ian Carroll, right? Ian Carroll is one of those guys who I just don't trust. Don't know what it is, never did trust the guy. He puts out some really great informative videos, but at the same time he's like, it's not all Jews. He's still pushing some sort of narrative. And of course, he's allowed to have all the subscribers. He's on everybody's channel, everybody's podcast, all that shit. I'm not that guy. I'm the guy that uses the information that any of you can find. There's no deep, dark search. You don't have to have hacking skills. You don't have to know anything. You just have to be able to type it into the fucking Google machine. And you'll have the exact same information I have. And it doesn't, you know, there's some really crazy shit. You start going into Palantir and Peter Thiel and all that shit. Yeah, it's fucking nuts. But you don't even have to do all that. You just have to look at what we're given, what we're told to believe, or you know, the lack of transparency, the lack of accountability. Have you ever heard anybody ever try to answer, other than I did hear this, and this is the other thing. The reason why people hate Jews so much all over the world, every continent, every culture, every color, every fucking person everywhere, the reason why so many people hate Jews is because we're just jealous of them. We're just jealous, so we hate them. I know so many people are jealous of basketball stars and football stars and all. Guess what? They don't hate them. But rewinding, there's just so much you end up going in these. But go look up the fucking Laurel Canyon conspiracy. Ask yourself why so many counterculture, you know, anti-war, anti-government activists, musicians were given fucking lucrative record contracts. Well, how? Why did that happen? How did all these bands get discovered in the first place? When you think about how hard it is to make shit happen today with the internet like we have it and the ability to put your shit out there and, you know, the censorship that comes your way, all of it. To think that back in the day, people were just, what, getting in vans and driving around the country, getting discovered? Bullshit. Jim Morrison's dad was the admiral on the ship used in the Gulf of Tonkin false flag. The well-documented Gulf of Tonkin false flag. Right? It's well documented. It's not a conspiracy theory or anything. It's been exposed. It was a complete and total false flag, the Gulf of Tonkin, where they claimed that they were attacked, that a ship was attacked by Japan or Vietnamese, whatever it was, and blah, 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 Americans were killed, this, that. It's not true. It's just not a true story. As a matter of fact, let's talk about it. October 7th, false flag, where no Israelis were killed and no Israelis were taken hostage. Gulf, let's see how long it takes for it to pop up. Gulf of Tonkin incident. The Gulf of Tonkin incident was an international confrontation which led to the U.S. engaging more directly in the Vietnam War. It consisted of a confrontation on August 2nd, 1964, when U.S. forces were carrying out covert amphibious operations close to North Vietnamese territorial waters. Will you bring your roaches out, please? Which triggered a response from North Vietnamese forces. The U.S. government falsely claimed that a second incident occurred on the 4th of August between North Vietnamese and United States ships in the waters of the Gulf of Tonkin. Originally, U.S. military claims blamed North Vietnam for the confrontation and the ostensible but in fact imaginary incident on August 4th. Later investigation revealed that the second attack never fucking happened. The National Security Agency, the NSA, an agency of the U.S. Defense Department, had deliberately skewed intelligence to create the impression that an attack had been carried out. So it's stuff like this where you go, okay, so now you're arrogance, right? Because I'm the arrogant one. What? Because all of you will say Oswald didn't shoot Kennedy. That's just crazy. My government is lying to me. The Gulf of Tonkin affair, the government was lying about it. So who are you? How arrogant are you that you think you can, well, the government told me the earth is round and we went to the moon. I believe that. You can say the government's lying about JFK, but you can decipher that they're telling you the truth about the earth shape? They're telling you the truth about the moon landing? With the thing we were capable of doing from 69 to 76, and then just for 72, I know it's 6 flights. Is it from 69 to 72 or 69 to 76? Can't remember. This thing we were capable of doing so proficiently back then, we didn't even have any fucking mishaps. Well, there was Apollo 13, yeah, but it worked out. We just did it. We were just like with submarines. And how the U.S. military has a 100% success rate with some. They've never had a submarine incident. The United States military. All those big giant nuclear subs that are the size of 80 school buses on the inside and blah, blah, blah. Not one of them has ever failed. Because that's how things work, right? That's how technology works.
Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, this way. Turn. Turn. Come on, dude. Let's
Go on, man.
Come on, why are you going so slow? You're never gonna get up that way. Come on, baby. Turn. Let's go. Try this side. Come on, up, 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 up. Good boy.
On August 2nd, the destroyer USS Maddox, while performing a signals intelligence patrol as part of DeSoto operations, was approached by 3 North Vietnamese Navy torpedo boats of the 135th Torpedo Squadron. Isn't that funny how they all have, doesn't matter what military it is, they all have the same rankings and designations and all this other shit? Yep, me and my trailer in the middle of this neighborhood, full of houses. We just got a trailer. Yep. Maddox fired warning shots, and the North Vietnamese boats attacked with torpedoes and machine gun fire. In the ensuing engagement, one U.S. aircraft, which had been launched from the aircraft carrier USS Ticonderoga, Ticonderoga, was damaged. 3 North Vietnamese torpedo boats were damaged, and 4 North Vietnamese soldiers were killed, with 6 more wounded. Oh yeah, we got that. There were no U.S. casualties. Sounds familiar. Maddox was unscathed except for a single bullet hole from a North Vietnamese machine gun round. How do you have a single bullet hole from a machine gun round? I mean, seriously, if you're doing some sort of sweeping fire, isn't there going to be more than one?
Okay, I'm just gonna step over that.
I know. On August 3rd, destroyer USS Turner Joy joined Maddox, and the 2 destroyers continued the DeSoto mission. On the evening of August 4th, the ships opened fire on radar returns that had been preceded by communications intercepts, which U.S. forces claimed meant an attack was imminent. The commander of the Maddox task force, Captain John Herrick, reported that the ships were being attacked by North Vietnamese boats when, in fact, there were no North Vietnamese boats in the area. While Herrick soon reported doubts regarding the task force's initial perceptions of the attack, the Johnson administration relied on the wrongly interpreted National Security Agency communication intercepts to conclude that the attack was real. It's funny how whenever there's something that goes on, this really, really well-oiled machine that never has any sort of incidents like this suddenly has all these, oh yeah, well the communications got screwed up and there was a mistake on this end, a mistake, and like the USS Liberty. USS Liberty was a fucking catastrophic failure all the way around and was obviously something different. It wasn't just because, oops, there was an oopsies. Oops, there was a mistakey-sakey. Keep smoking, you human piece of excrement. Looks like we have an Israeli.
Very nice.
It looks like we have an Israeli joined 4 years ago with 1 subscriber. Looks like we have a Matitza Bape, disgusting pedo here. I always got something stupid to say. So, what am I getting wrong here now? Reading you what it says? Which part am I getting wrong now? While doubts regarding the perceived second attack have been expressed since 1964, it was not until years later that it was shown conclusively never to have happened. In the 2003 documentary, The Fog of War, the former United States Secretary of Defense, Robert McNamara, admitted that there was no attack on August 4th. In 1995, McNamara met with former North Vietnamese Army General Vo Nguyen, how do you say it? Nguyen, or something. I don't know. Nguyen, I don't know how you say it. To ask what happened on October 4th, 1964. Absolutely nothing, Giap replied. Giap confirmed that the attack had been imaginary. In 2005, an International Security Agency historical study was declassified. It concluded that the Maddox had engaged the North Vietnamese Navy on August 2nd, but that the incident of August 4th was based on bad naval intelligence and misrepresentations of North Vietnamese communications. The official U.S. government claimed that it was based mostly on erroneous interpreted communication intercepts. Right? Think about how fucked up that is. How many other things were this way? They just haven't been exposed. The outcome of the incident was the passage by U.S. Congress of the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, which granted U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson the authority to assist any Southeast Asian country whose government was considered to be jeopardized by communist aggression. Oh, those communists.
You're a communist?
Of course I am. Oh, yes. The communists, those Muslim militants, communist militants. The resolution served as Johnson's legal justification for deploying U.S. conventional forces to South Vietnam and the commencement of open warfare against North Vietnam in early 1965. So literally, the whole thing, the whole reason we got into the Vietnam War was based on a lie. A lie. And then, of course, there is the USS. You put USS into the Wikipedia search engine. It gives you USS Enterprise, decommissioned United States Navy aircraft carrier. USS Enterprise, fictional ship in Star Trek. USS Liberty incident. The third thing means there are so many people talking about this. Read the restraining order that your last wife took out. Holy shit. Not only do I have a restraining order by my last wife, I also have a last wife.
That's incredible. I never knew that. I wish you would have told me.
I mean, you'd think you would have known that when we got married, because it would have been...
I want some broad, sloppy seconds.
Yeah, well, I was a virgin when I met you.
Right.
Just like you were a virgin when you met me. What? What? If you were a virgin when I met you, I would have nothing to do with you.
Right.
That's fucking gross. You're a weirdo.
Well, especially at 30.
Right. Jesus, you were young. Liar! I'm lying. Can you provide some sort of proof? Can you provide a link to the proof? Can you provide something for people to look up that I was, not only was I married, but I have a restraining order out from said wife? When was I married before?
Maybe that's the narrative that telling everybody, you had a baby by her too, right?
Oh yeah, I think she's dead. I'm not worried about her. She's dead.
You think so?
Probably. But I'd love to see like what evidence is it? And again, when was I married?
Right.
Please give us some details on this.
26 when I met you. Well, yeah, 26.
Why are you giving details? Because now he can say, oh, it was before. See, you gotta walk them into shit. God damn. We know, yep, you know. Funny how start talking about U.S. liberty and suddenly now we've got a distraction. Why wouldn't any red-blooded fucking America first loving American want this story to be put out there? Why would any American try to stop? Why wouldn't every single American on here be like, yeah, dude, talk about it. That's an important thing. I had my wife, she had heard about it, but she didn't know the details. I had her watch something the other day where it laid everything out. And it was literally one of those situations where you're just going like how could there be a different narrative? The facts in the story, the actual facts, only point to an Israeli U.S. government incident and then cover up. When the soldiers aren't permitted to talk about it, when the soldiers are told to take their identifiers off when they get to shore, and they're prevented from talking about it, they're sworn to secrecy over it, and all these other things, and then a lie is put out. How does that even work? I'm still yapping to myself because someone just commented on the feed. How am I yapping to myself if you're on the feed? Like, they're just so stupid. I'm 35, and I made sure everyone knows how our American brave men were killed by our greatest ally. We should. Domestic violence is no joke, yup. I'm a huge domestic violence guy. Like, my wife steps out of line and I'm just like, waka, pa, pa, pa. I break out my Mugu Guy pan and just cut her up. Waka, pa, pow. And of course, this guy is so concerned with domestic violence. Yet if you don't hear him saying, yeah, we need to expose the whole Israel Hayom rape culture that is so prominent and prevalent in Israel. They're not going to say anything about that. They're so concerned, but just not about that stuff. We will publish your record. Who's we?
How was the wedding? Was it?
Did you have fun with John? I bet you will. You'll publish it where? We're going to publish your record. Where? You won't even make videos proving you're real people. Proving you're not Israeli scum. We're going to publish your record. Boy, that's not going to work out well for you. What's going to show? And again, where? Is it going to be the same place where Hamas posts their stuff too? This mad online. Well, where? Where? What would even be the point? Like, who cares about me that much? I thought I'm just yapping to myself. If I'm no threat, and I'm, don't matter. Why would you, I guess, create a website, another website, dedicated to exposing me to who? Where is this gonna, what is that, what would that even lead to?
State.
DWI and assault. No, I definitely have a DWI. Well, it's a DUI, actually. Let's show again that you're not actually Americans, and you say things like Israelis would. DWI. No, it's a DUI. But yeah, I got a DUI when I was 24, I think, in California. What would that have anything to do with the USS Liberty? What would that have anything to do with the stopping the Israeli child sex rings? What are we talking about here? And disorderly conduct for everyone. And I have disorderly conduct. Man. So if I'm willing to talk about the DUI, and then, the stuff from when I was a kid, the firearms possession for having a BB gun, and then the pipe charge. Oh, and then I did get the peeing in public thing, but nothing bad came from that. So I'll talk about but these other things, these are some secrets. Secrets. Yo, can you explain, if God doesn't exist, how we have consciousness?
So dumb it makes my brain hurt.
Right. You mean we have God because we have consciousness and people are capable of making up stories? Is that what you're talking about? He just sounds more based. He can't answer. Answer for what? What am I supposed to be answering now? Your last comment was, we will publish your criminal record online. What am I supposed to be answering? I encourage you to. You notice how, I'm not like, no, please don't. Oh, I'm so scared. No, go. I guess on this imaginary place online where you're going to publish my record, again, because I'm so important that you're going to focus on me.
In my head.
Huh?
Pat Benatar just flashed in my head. Hit me with your best shot.
Don't date yourself, woman. We all know who runs the criminal courts system in the courts, Jews. So the fact you're publishing his criminal record just makes him look cooler. I don't have a criminal record. Day 1,944,940 guy rambling about nothing. Morning. Yep, I'm talking about nothing. The USS Liberty is nothing to talk about. Didn't fall for the distraction. Tell us more about the false flag. You got a point. I just think it's so funny. And you have to point this out. Why are they just coming out everything they can do to try to stop this?
Fill the car. What is he doing with this? Hold on a second.
She's about to go kick some ass. How are you?
Tied up? Hello.
No, I have to because it's my cord. It's my lifeline. The USS Liberty incident was an attack on the U.S. Navy technical research ship, a spy ship, USS Liberty, by Israeli Air Force jet fighter aircraft and Israeli Navy motor torpedo boats on June 8, 1967, during the Six-Day War, the Six-Day Assault, the Six-Day Massacre. The combined air and sea attack killed 34 crew members, naval officers, seamen, 2 Marines, and 1 civilian NSA employee, wounded 171 crew members, and severely damaged the ship. At the time, the U.S. ship was in international waters north of the Sinai Peninsula, about 25 nautical miles northwest from the Egyptian city Arish. Israel apologized for the attack. Oh, well, that made it okay then. Just to muddy the truth and distract us from learning the truth. Exactly. Look at how upset they are. What American is going to what's up, Karen? Is going what?
Oh, you were talking to Karen.
No, yeah. What American is going to be upset about this story being read and shown? Is a Jew. I just looked up the profile. It makes sense why she wants to shut you up. Of course. Of course. And is doing everything to try to, oh, let's bring up Jesus. He'll talk about Jesus. Let's do this. They're trying everything they can to prevent this information from being talked about. Just like you saw on Myron's video, where he was trying to talk about 9/11 and they just started going crazy and yelling and chanting and, you know, they brought up 9/11. And then when he started smiling and was like, yeah, all right, let's talk about it, they were like, blah, 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 blah. No, I don't want to. Anyway, Israel apologized for the attack, saying the USS Liberty had been attacked in error after being mistaken for an Egyptian ship. When you see the picture difference between how big the American ship was and what the ship they claimed they thought it was, the American ship was like twice the size. Both the Israeli and U.S. governments conducted inquiries and issued reports that concluded the attack was a mistake due to Israeli confusion about the ship's identity. Oh. Others, including survivors of the attack, have rejected these conclusions and maintain that the attack was deliberate. Those lying-ass American soldiers, those dirty liars. 8 likes, 11 viewers. Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. Yep, now I'm mentally unstable. Here we go. The other stuff wasn't working, so we got to try to make me seem crazy because I'm reading you what we're supposed to know on the page that's completely locked. So there is no interference possible. Can't just edit it how I might want it to be. But now I'm mentally unstable. Yes, I love you too. Have fun. Watch out for.
Have lunch made already in the fridge.
Better not be any warlocks at this little thing. I know how this works. I saw how the gypsies do it. This is like the gypsy horse fair thing, right? Is she fatty? Is she like fatty? You drive because it's a little unsafe when she can't?
No, she drives fine, but...
Yep, I am super meth man. Psychological is Jew rude. Have you announced the prize board giveaway today? A secondhand PS2, complete with a dodgy. Yeah, that's the prize for today. I'm mentally unstable. I'm crazy. Remember, if you think I'm crazy, then you dismiss what's said, even though it's being read to you. 14 viewers, 9 likes. Totally makes sense, right? I don't know how many shares this has, but you should be sharing this. Take 2 seconds, click share, click Facebook. Let everybody know, the truth about the USS Liberty. Have rejected it. Thomas Hinman Moore, the 7th chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, accused President Lyndon B. Johnson of having covered up that the attack was a deliberate act. In May 1968, the Israeli government paid $3.2 million, equivalent to $30 million in 2024. Remember this. This is really interesting, right? Listen to these numbers here. To the U.S. government, they're giving our money back to us. They're not paying anything. They're just giving our money back to us. These trolls' comments are hilarious. Of course, because now I'm a Nazi. I'm a National Socialist. All of this, instead of saying, yeah, this was a horrible thing and Israel should be held accountable and blah, blah, nothing. Just like they never say anything about, we need to end Matitza B'Pei. They never say anything about we need to end the Israel Hayom ritualistic sexual abuse that has always been a part of Israeli society and culture. They never say anything about those things. But yep, I'm a Nazi. These are just disgusting. I hate even saying people because a lot of them are bots anyway. But in compensation for the families of the 34 men killed in the attack in March of '69, Israel paid another $3.757 million. That's $30.6 million in 2024 to the men who had been wounded. In December of 1980, it agreed to pay $6 million, so double the amount of money that was equivalent to $22 million in 1924. How come $3 million in 1968 is equivalent to $30 million in 2024, but $6 million in 1980 is only equivalent to $22.9 million? Does that not tell you something is wrong here? As a final settlement for material damage to the ship plus 13 years of interest. Do you realize it was it 2022? Yeah, it was 2022, the 50-year anniversary of the Munich bullshit. The fake Israeli hostages were taken and blah, blah, blah. That whole fake bullshit story. In 2022, the families of those people were awarded another $27 million or $29 million because of the supposed bullshit. We paid them. No, the Germans were responsible for paying them an additional $27 million. They've already had multiple payouts since then. And it was only 11 people supposedly killed. And yet that's been bilked to the fucking moon. Milked, bilked, silked. It's crazy. The U.S. Liberty was originally the 7,725 long-ton light civilian cargo vessel Simmons Victory, a mass-produced, standard-design Victory ship. The follow-on series to the famous Liberty ships that supplied the Allies with cargo during World War II. It was acquired by the United States, blah, blah, blah. Attack on the Liberty. During the Six-Day War between Israel and several Arab nations, the United States maintained a neutral country status. Several days before the war began, USS Liberty was ordered to proceed to the East Mediterranean area to perform a signals intelligence collection mission in international waters near the north coast of Sinai, Egypt. After the war erupted, due to concerns about its safety as it approached the patrol area, several messages were sent to Liberty to increase its allowable closest point of approach to Egypt's and Israel's coast from 12.5 miles and 6.5 nautical miles, respectively, to 20 and 15 nautical miles, and then later to 100 nautical miles for both countries, thereby reducing proximity. However, due to ineffective message handling and routing, the messages were not received until after the attack. Almost like they were sent as a cover-up after the attack. So interesting how that works. According to Israeli sources, because we should hear Israeli sources first, right? That should be the first sources we hear on this narrative. At the start of the war on June 5th, General Yitzhak Rabin, piece of shit that he was, Israeli Air Force Chief of Staff informed Commander Ernest Carl Castle, the American naval attaché in Tel Aviv, that Israel would defend its coast with every means at its disposal, including sinking unidentified ships. He asked the U.S. to keep its ships away from Israel's shore, or at least inform Israel of their exact positions. And why would we ever be like, okay, Israel, you're the boss here? Why wouldn't there be a direct threat that if you ever attack any sort of U.S. ship, we're going to fuck you up for that? Shouldn't that have been the response? American sources say that no inquiry about the ships in the area was made until after the attack on the Liberty. In a message sent from U.S. Secretary of State Dean Rusk to U.S. Ambassador Woolworth Barbour in Tel Aviv, Israel, Rusk asked for urgent confirmation of Israel's statement. Barbour responded, no request for info on U.S. ships operating off Sinai was made until after Liberty incident. Further, Barbour stated, had Israelis made such an inquiry, it would have been forwarded immediately to the Chief of Naval Operations and other high naval commands and repeated to Department of State. Doesn't say the Department of State, it should. Again, our comments shut off. It's interesting how it keeps going where there'll be comments and then there's nothing. I can't tell if the comments are still on or not. I would assume that they shut them off with how stupid the trolls are being, but with the outbreak of war, Captain William L. McGonigal of Liberty immediately asked Vice Admiral William I. Martin at the United States 6th Fleet headquarters to send a destroyer to accompany Liberty and serve as its armed escort as an auxiliary communications center. The following day, Admiral Martin replied, Liberty is a clearly marked U.S. ship in international waters, not a participant in the conflict, and not a reasonable subject for attack by any nation. Request denied. Interesting. He promised, however, that in an unlikely event of an inadvertent attack, just in case there's an inadvertent attack that happens to the thing that there was supposedly an inadvertent attack, jet fighters from the 6th Fleet would be overhead in 10 minutes. 13 viewers, 10 likes. Meanwhile, at the United Nations on June 6th, U.S. Ambassador Arthur Goldberg told the United Nations Security Council that vessels of the 6th Fleet were several hundred miles from the conflict, in response to Egyptian complaints that the U.S. was supporting Israel in the conflict. Gee, I wonder why they would say that. That's definitely not true. It's not like Netanyahu has thanked the U.S. pilots for everything they've done as far as the bombing campaigns have gone. No. When the statement was made, it was in fact true. When the statement was made, it was in fact true. Liberty, now assigned to the 6th Fleet, was in the central Mediterranean Sea, passing between Libya and Crete. You notice how they just sort of jump over that shit? When this statement was made, it was in fact true. The U.S. was assisting Israel in its fucking genocide that they were trying to accomplish back then. It would ultimately steam to about 13 nautical miles north of the Sinai Peninsula. On the night of June 7th, Washington time, early morning on June 8th, 1:10 Zulu, or 3:10 local time, the Pentagon issued an order to 6th Fleet headquarters to tell Liberty to come no closer than 100 nautical miles to Israel, Syria, or the Sinai coast. According to the Naval Court of Inquiry, in the NSA official history, The order to withdraw was not sent on the radio frequency that Liberty monitored for her orders until 1525 Zulu, several hours after the attack, due to a long series of administrative and message routing problems. Oh, just another bunch of oohs. Just a bunch of boo-boos. Oh no. There's some more boo-boos. Top to bottom, just boo-boo here, boo-boo here, boo-boo here, boo-boo here. Oh yeah, and you know, there's evidence to the contrary that this was all done on purpose, but shut up, conspiracy theorist. According to the Naval Court of Inquiry and the National and the NSA official history, the order to withdraw was not sent on the radio, blah, 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 blah. The Navy said a large volume of unrelated high precedence traffic, including intelligence intercepts related to the conflict, were being handled at the same time, and that this, combined with a shortage of qualified radio men, contributed to the delayed transmission of the withdrawal message. Oh, funny how it only happened that one time. You would have thought there would be a lot more of these incidents had it been something, you know, legitimate. 12 likes, 12 viewers. Totally makes sense. Whatever you do, don't subscribe. Don't take 2 seconds and share this on Facebook saying the truth about U.S. liberty. Or this guy's talking about U.S. liberty. Come tell him how he's wrong if you're scared. Whatever. And clearly the comment section has been shut off. Don't you think it's strange that they were desperately trying to say shit to distract and all that? But even the other commenters, this is when it seems to usually happen the most frequently, is when other commenters start pointing out how ridiculous what's being said to me is. Because it's one thing if I say it, but if other people start saying, hey, look at how they're avoiding the answers, look at how they're desperately trying to distract, look at how they're doing this and doing that, that adds weight to it. And that's, the more people are going to read those comments and be like, hey, yeah, you know what? That's actually true. I see that. You show me another person that you've ever seen say the comment section got shut off from their perspective. And it happens all the time. I'm not surprised. I'm not, you know, this happens so frequently that it is what it is. And you can see the pattern. You can see the pattern that is on display every single time too. They desperately start trying to fucking, like, I'll be reading something like this and they'll just, it's just this desperate attempt to try to make me look crazy. And so you guys can see the comments that are still coming through, but I can't. I can't point it out to you what they're saying. Again, just tell me somebody else you've watched before that said the same thing. If you can provide some evidence that somebody else has this happen to them, on a different video, because you can't tell me here, I'd love to see it. Just like I want to know this magical place where they're going to post my record online. Because, you know, you're going to post my record and then anybody that sees this is going to automatically know to go to this random website to see my horrible record. And then they'll be like, oh shit, everything he said about the USS Liberty isn't true because he got arrested before. Do you understand how stupid this whole thing is? Official testimony combined with the Liberty's deck log established that throughout the morning of the attack, June 8th, the ship was overflown at various times and locations by Israeli Air Force aircraft. The primary aircraft type was the Noratlis, which, of course, all identifiers were stripped from those aircraft. All the Israeli flags and shit that normally fly on those aircraft, the identifiers, they had all been stripped off those aircraft. These were unidentifiable aircraft. There were also 2 unidentified Delta wing jets at about 9 a.m. Sinai time. Liberty crew members say one of the Noratlis aircraft flew so close to Liberty that noise from its propellers rattled the ship's deck plating, and that the pilots and crew members waved to each other. It was later reported, based on information from IDF sources, the Israeli Defense Force, why anybody believes anything they say is beyond me, that the overflights were coincidental. Oh, just another coincidence. And that the aircraft were hunting for Egyptian submarines that had been spotted near the coast. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Hey, which submarines did they sink? At about 5:45 Sinai time, how could you even say you're hunting for submarines? Like, unless they're the boats that are at the top of the water, how are you going to see them? Even if they're like 10, 15 feet down, how are you going to see them? I love that the last 2 comments I can see are fucking bitch-ass fucking Israeli operative Sharon Karen calling me a Nazi. Okay, Nazi. And then open-minded saying, these troll comments are hilarious. That's the last comments I can see. You know what? I really want to hear the comments. So if you like this video and you want to hear the rest of this video, or you want to hear the rest of this story, come back. We'll talk about. I'm gonna talk about it again. I'm just gonna retitle this, and I want to be able to see the comments that come through, because I'm so scared of what they have to say. I'm gonna reset the video because I can't read the shit being talked. Isn't that interesting? So make sure you like, share, and sub. Make sure you check out the links in the video. If you gotta go get your free download, www.the-builderberg-group.com. It's free to download, free to listen to. Just put 0 in the payment box when it asks how much you want to pay to download, and it's free. There's links now. I've added all sorts of links. There's links to Hollywoodism, the greatest film ever made. These are all receipts as far as I'm concerned. Hollywoodism, the greatest film ever made. Talking all about this stuff from their perspective. The Israel Hayom article that everyone needs to read, despite the fact it's going to keep kicking you out and make it difficult for you. There's links to the Naftali Bennett video where he brags about how they control Israel, or they control Wikipedia, the thing I'm reading. There's a link to the Team Jorge explanation, the Act IL explanation, and then there's a bunch of other videos of ours on Facebook for the different songs on Facebook that I highly encourage you to check out. Like, share, and sub to the Facebook page, all that shit. It's all there. Go check it out. It's in the description as we speak. But come right back if you want to hear the rest of this. So, otherwise, pedophiles, kill yourself.